Hello and welcome to The Sexual Alchemist, a podcast on relationships, sex, magic, and more. I'm Sexual Alchemist, certified sexpert, and relationship counselor Michelle Torrens, and you have just entered my fun world. Welcome. This podcast is all about sex, sexuality, sexual play, education, relationship, communication, cosmic consciousness, magic, and so much more. This is a safe space for exploration, expansion, and a connection within the deepest parts of yourself, as well as connection with others who are vibing at the same frequency field as you. So grab a drink, grab some cannabis, sit by the fire, or lounge out by the pool, and let's go in and have a magical conversation. See you in there. Well. Here we are again. Hello, my beautiful rising humans. Welcome to this episode. This is the Misread Show. It's been the Rising Goddess movement. It's been the magic experience. I am still the Sexual Alchemist. I'm the Sexual Alchemist, if you go to all my socials. And now here we are, the Misread Show. What you guys have been following, if you have been with me from the beginning, you guys have been traveling up the spiral of conscious awareness shifts in my personal human experience. And each time I have a leveling in, which is a level up and a level in, right? That's in that spiral aspect of higher frequency, but more in tune and in line with the most desired version of myself I wish to be. So all of you have been with me throughout that journey. If you're new here, welcome. I have a history of episodes that you can dive into. I've been talking about this same stuff, sex, magic, and relationships. That is the dynamic. That's the basis of the Misread Show. That's the basis of me. The Sexual Alchemist. Sexual alchemy is such a powerful practice because it's applied differently through all of us. We all apply it differently. It's the same types of principles. It's like the framework, right? If you're in dance and your instructor, your choreographer gives you framework, but then you take that framework and you create the picture in the frame. And honestly, I've heard Vanessa say this a lot. And while I've understood it, I don't think I've clearly understood it until today. These last 2 days, actually. But when you apply that with your sexual alchemy, when you apply that with everything, I'm here to help, to provide you the framework. Of course, with the counseling and the sessions that we do, and all the journal work and the shadow work and the inner child and the past life and all of this work that we do to get to the core of the true, authentic, desired version of yourself you wish to be. And when we realize that our sexuality, our sexual experience, our sex is a major part, a base of our human experience, and that you don't have to have shame surrounding it. You don't have to be judged or have judgment upon yourself or listen to any judgment from people who you wouldn't engage in sexual experiences with. And that you can live a free, joyous, exciting, explorative, tantalizing, sexy, powerful, empowered life. However you choose to express the art in the framework that you have and that you're provided. See, we came here, we were provided the framework as humans when we came to this existence. What we do and how we create the art that goes into the frame is the magic. Yes, there. Sex and magic already touched on in the first 420. Speaking of 420, if you have it, go ahead and smoke it. So, now that we've touched on sex and magic in this particular episode already, why don't we get to the topic at hand, which is surrounding relationships. First, I'm going to take a sip of coffee out of my big ass cup of coffee mug. It's my favorite. Milan and David gave it to me for my birthday. It's the High Priestess. If you follow me on my socials, you've already seen it, but if you're not following me and you just stumbled across this, you should. So I'll link them or post them below, and that way you can follow everything. Anywho, so today's topic, resentment in relationships. Resentment in relationships. You know, it's interesting when you think about resentment in a relationship and you think, well, if I resent this person, or it's like you consciously are aware of it. And a lot of times we're not consciously aware of resentments that we hold. And how is a resentment made, right? How do you create a resentment with your partner? That is by you not speaking your truth in the moment of an experience happening, right? That's you not standing up either for yourself or speaking up for yourself, and sharing what it is you're really feeling. If you are upset, sharing that with your partner. If you were hurt, if you were angry, and you don't share that with your partner in the moment or moments thereafter of whatever experience is happening, or in that similar time frame, then that's pushed down. And it's pushed down and pushed down and pushed down. And then it goes into the deep, dark places in your body, in your heart, in your core, in your solar plexus, in your sacral, in your root. And these moments where you swallowed your truth and you didn't say something, whether that was for fear of retaliation of some sort from your partner, whether, if it was physical, mental, or emotional abuse, or whether you lived your entire life as a people pleaser, surfing on the waves of codependency, and you didn't want to rock the boat. You didn't want to upset. You didn't want them to leave you, because if you were upset at something, or you were hurt, or you were angry at something that was brought upon from their impact, maybe not the intention, but the impact. And of course, if you were either raised from a narcissist or been in previous relationships with narcissists, then you being upset in any way and sharing your feelings as to that anger or fear or hurt, then they would hold that over your head as you being over dramatic or overreacting or too sensitive. Right? And so then they would say that, and they would throw that at you, and then of course, threaten to leave. Well, this is how I feel, and if you don't, then I'm just going to leave. Playing on your codependency, right? That's what narcissists do. They play on your weaknesses. And use them against you. They tie you up with them. So if you're continuously swallowing and not speaking up and speaking your truth when the experience is happening, then all of that gets pushed down and then it's stored in your body. And then you drop it to the place where you don't really think about it. It's not consciously in your mind. And, like a lot of people, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, right? If I don't see something continuously, then I forget about it. So if something's not continuously in the forefront of my thought process, then I forget about it. But my body and my emotions and my spiritual and my energy does not. And that's when we are unconsciously creating, right? We're conscious creators. We came here as energetic frequencies coming to live a human experience through the senses of our body in this time space with these time space limitations and the physical expression of the emotional state, right? Emotions are energy in motion. And I talk about this a lot, that if you repress your emotions, you stop them, you don't allow yourself to express them or feel them or move them through your body, then it's stopping the momentum of the energy. If emotion is energy in motion, then you're not allowing yourself to move that energy through. You are stagnating and stopping the energy. So what that does and how that's expressed in your life is maybe you start to create chaos in your life. Self-limiting thoughts or beliefs, unconsciously creating experiences that you aren't aligned with and what it is that you really want, so therefore continuously creating conflict in your life. Granted, there's external experiences that come through, and sometimes life's just a bitch. That sometimes, shit happens, and bad things happen, and it's not anything that we bring upon ourselves in that aspect. But it's what's happened in that experience, and not everything. This is where we have to be careful with this, love and light crew. Is that it says that we bring upon everything upon ourselves, that we are the ones that created it. Our energy was that of a match, right? The law of attraction, right? We have to be careful with that. Because while the law of attraction is absolutely an aspect of energetic work and alignment, sometimes things happen. And we have to acknowledge and accept that. So when we're going back into resentments, right? Sometimes we have a resentment towards our partner regarding things that they didn't even themselves have control over, right? So by you not feeling confident in your own alignment, by you not feeling confident in your own voice, your own self, your own grounded security, by you not feeling that within your own self, then you push that down, you hold that in, and then that builds up and builds up and builds up, and then you start to see your partner differently. You don't see your partner the same. And then a lot of times that comes out as, and then like fights will break out or little arguments over stupid shit, right? Sometimes things start to happen and arguments happen, or the relationship energy shifts and you feel this shift. And then if you have been somebody who has been doing your shadow work, right? You've been slowly working your way up through, you've walked through the valley of the shadow of death multiple times, gathering multiple different aspects of yourself to reintegrate into your whole total frequency. And each time, I didn't even say the full word, remember, each time we go through a healing experience, right? We rise up in conscious awareness. We become, the light shines a little bit brighter. The playing field opens up a bit more. The deeper of healing you can complete, meaning that you're able to go and dive into the depths of the shadows within yourself. And it feels like it's an infinity experience, which it could be. It could be an infinite amount of layers, but recognizing that those layers, as you heal and you become more consciously aware, you are becoming more and more aligned into the desired version of yourself, the human experience that you have wanted to have. And what's important to remember as we talk about this resentments in relationships is that we live in a world of polar opposites, that we are experiencing the duality of it. In Tarot, there's the Lover's card. It's a major arcana, which means it's a card that represents a major aspect of your life. And not only does the Lovers describe an experience, the partnership and lovers themselves, but it is a choice card. And with every choice, there's a duality. There's the duality of the experience. So with every aspect of understanding resentment, there is also joy, freedom, happiness. So when we're talking about resentments in relationships, it's important to find that balance in that as you go through the growth, as you become aware of these resentments. Because if you are with your partner and you love your partner, you know you love your partner. You know that you guys have been through so much together and you guys truly love each other. So you know that to get through this, you're going to have to work together with it. You're going to have to work together, and you're going to have to be able to find the fun and find the balance of positive with it. Because when you can find that, you can hold on to that frequency to give you strength, to give you confidence, to help you ground in that security, to be able to speak the resentments that have come to the light. Because there's a moment in time when resentments will come up. You feel them starting to come up. That's when things start to happen with our bodies physically. Whether we start to feel inflamed, nauseous, we can't sleep, our body just feels sore, we just have a fatigue feeling, we have emotional experiences and expressions where we are feeling confused or where we're having sadness come through. You're not really sure exactly what's happening. You know, you just feel this way and you don't know why, right? You have that a lot of the time. A lot of the times when we're growing up with hormonal aspects as well, is you feel a certain way and you just don't know why, right? That happens a lot when humans with uteruses are transferring and beginning their periods. Building up into that, it's just you don't understand why you're feeling this way, and that's because your body's shifting. But it's the same with this. When you've had something held into your body so deep for so long, and you go to, and it starts to come up because you've been doing all the other work, right? You have been tending to your garden. You have been tending to your garden, whether that's nurturing seeds, planting of manifestations or creations, work, money, whatever the case may be, or you are nurturing your garden spiritually and emotionally by doing the shadow work, by acknowledging things in your life and experiences and emotions and accepting aspects of these things and letting go. And you've been doing this peeling back of these layers. And as you have been tending to your garden, the stuff that's been in the deep, deep, deep gunk is starting to come up. It's starting to rise up because you're churning your soil. You are shifting. You are moving. You are rising up. You are going in more alignment. You are grounding. And because of that, this is bringing all that other gunk up. And so the stuff that's been held deep into your body, these resentments, are coming up to the surface. And so we'll have a physical experience as they do it, right? In your partnership, you may feel more annoyed or frustrated or irritated at your partner. You may feel more clingy. You may feel more attached. You may feel like you're tapping into your like you're experiencing codependency, right? Your people pleasing is coming up, and you consciously know, since you've been doing your work, that people pleasing is what you've done your whole life, but you're no longer doing that. And so if that's coming up, if you're feeling that energy, if you're feeling that frequency of people pleasing, then that's an indicator that something's coming up. And so resentment is like if you were to put, like, if you were to just plant and just continuously quiet or pat down or not nurture an experience. And when I'm saying not nurturing that experience, not speaking, right? Because say you've had issues with your throat chakra, right? Your energy space where you feel free to speak. And you swallowed so much your entire life because of fear of either losing that person or fear of safety. Now, there's a difference between swallowing something and not speaking your truth and knowing that something is not, it's not that big of a deal for you. It's just this, it's not affecting you in a way where you feel physically, emotionally, spiritually, negatively impacted by the experience from the other person. And sometimes you're like, whatever, because it's not that big of a deal in the aspect of your own, right, awareness or consciousness or confidence. And understanding that the intention was also not at a place of hurting in any way, shape, or form. But when we start to feel those resentments come up, the first thing that we need to do is acknowledge them when they do come up, because we'll start to feel thought, we'll start to hear thoughts, we'll start to feel things, and the thoughts and the emotion will start to match. And typically when that happens, it's you're getting into alignment of manifesting, or you're getting into alignment of releasing and transmuting, right? So there's alchemizing energy throughout the entire experience, whether you are manifesting something into existence, a tangible creation, or you are transmuting a frequency of pain into pleasure. And so it takes acknowledgement and acceptance. And a lot of times we don't want to accept that we've had these thoughts or these thoughts about our partner. We have these feelings about our partner because we do love them. But you also know that for a while something hasn't been right. And why is that? And so being real with yourself, being real with your partner, you guys really being real with each other, finally coming to a place where you both are at a state where either we're fully in this together, in that relationship, or we're not. And when you're in a state at that level with your relationship, no matter how long you've been together, whether it's 2 years or 2 decades, when you get to that point, then you can no longer ignore and bypass the emotions and the feelings and the thoughts and the resentments. And so you have to speak them. You have to speak them at that point. And it could be an ugly conversation. Not so much violent or anything like that. But it's going to be very emotionally. There's going to be hurt feelings. And so being able to understand how to express that to your partner is very important, especially if you've been working on communication, especially if you and your partner have been working on yourselves and the partnership, the relationship itself. The train's in town. I'm sure you can hear it. So if you find yourself at a state where you just can't, and you'll know when you can't hold it in anymore because you're literally on the verge of purging, whether you throw up or you just start purging words out and you blow up. You either throw up or blow up when the resentment is at the level of having to be spoken. And it can be scary because it's also you releasing a patterned trauma response. And you're consciously releasing that patterned trauma response. And that can be a scary thing, no matter how awakened or how high or how aligned your awareness is. There's moments where it can be scary. That's also part of the human experience in this spiritual healing, in this spiritual relationship, in this personal relationship, in any relationship. So when it's time to bring it to your partner, be patient. Recognize and understand that your partner may have a response. But their emotional response is not and cannot be the deterrent anymore. That's what started this whole thing in the first place. They're going to respond how they're going to respond. And you're going to walk through it. Especially if you guys have held hands and you started holding hands at the beginning of the pathway of walking into this particular forest. You are walking into this transitional forest. You both know that something's changing. You can feel it. And when you bring it to your partner, you may realize, and may not even realize, that you're providing a safe space for your partner to be able to express their resentments with you, because it's not just a one-way street. It is a give and take. It is a back and forth. It is a relationship. So having patience, grace, and compassion for both of you is going to help you through this. And remember that we don't know the perfect thing to say at any point in time. The perfect thing to say is to just say it in a way where you can be kind, where you're not coming at your partner, but you've recognized that these resentments have been held in your body and they've come to light and you are made aware of them now, and you have to get them out for the health of your existence and the health of the relationship. And it may not sound right coming out, but it's got to come out. Which again provides a safe place and opportunity for your partner to feel that same way. And when you release these resentments, physically, verbally speaking them, not only are you really tilling up and releasing this tar gunk in your body, but you start to feel your physical body change. A hummingbird just showed up. You start to feel it. And it gives your partner the opportunity to see something that they haven't been able to see within themselves. And they've known that there's been something that needs to be reflected on, but maybe they haven't had the clarity. And maybe by bringing this up, it starts to make everything make sense as to what's been happening in your relationship leading up to that point in the certain time. Because typically when we start to have this recognition that something isn't right and there's been some deep anger, pain, resentment, we start to see our partner differently. And when we start to see our partner differently, that is when we have the choice. There's that Lover's card again. We have the choice of either being able to come to your partner and speak it, or we don't. And if you chose and you will love your partner and you both want to do this, then this is an important step in the health, the expansion, the exploration, the fun, the joy of your relationship. Resentments with anything in your life hold you in this state of continued pattern, in a response that patterns, that cycles in your life in so many different ways. You know, I said earlier, however that's expressed when you are holding on to resentments, and however that cycle is expressed is, it could be expressed in different ways, whether that's you creating chaos or conflict. And depending on where there's resentment held, do you have resentment towards your children? Do you have resentment towards your parents? Do you have resentment towards a friend? Do you have resentment towards yourself? Because ultimately, remember, our first and most important relationship is with ourselves. Our human experience. Mastering our craft, we are our craft. We are the experience, the human expression of our experience is our relationship. And all the other aspects of other humans interacting with us in our frequency fields, in our paradigm playground, it's the bonus, the benefits, the excitement, the exploration, the co-creative aspect of this human experience. So today I'm going to ask you to just sit a moment, whether you're sitting outside on Gaia and just allowing her to just hold you, feeling grounding, being present in your presence. I'm going to ask you to look deep, be real, and ask yourself, am I holding resentments towards my partner? Am I holding resentment towards myself? Am I holding resentment? And that's the first question, because once you can see and feel, when you ask that question, then the universe provides you the opportunity to feel the experience, for you to get curious and dive into that. And remember, it's okay. You're not a bad person for having resentment towards a partner. You're not a bad person for going through a life of people-pleasing and codependency and learning and being programmed that speaking your truth can cause abandonment or loss, because that's the only thing that you've experienced growing up. Past partners. And remember that your partner is an individual human as well. They have their own trauma. They have their own childhood experience, their own programming. So just as you are going through releasing resentment, releasing pain, releasing trauma, becoming aware of it, learning who you are, so are they. And you both will continue to become different versions of your human experience in many different times. Every single day is a new experience as a human. Today is January 14th, 2023, the only January 14th, 2023 that we will experience in this time space. Today is the only day we will be this version, this minute. When we are present in our presence, we can see that we are continuously becoming. And that is the experience of being human. So if you find that you are holding resentments and you realize and you start to recognize where these resentments are, who they're with, start writing them down, get them out. If you have to do it multiple times, do it. If you find yourself feeling emotion coming up and you need to release that emotion, whether you need to scream or cry, do it. You will no longer bypass the emotion tied to the thought or the voiced opinion or experience hold you back anymore. You will not bypass that emotion. You will feel it because you are ready for that energy, that energetic frequency to be in motion. You are ready for the integration and the reintegration of these aspects of yourself because you know you have to. Either you do it or it eats you alive. Slowly. So, on that note, let's take a hit. And just remember that none of us have it perfect. None of us are doing it perfect. We're all continuously learning. We're all continuously healing, being present, having fun, exploring. Life is like a fucking scavenger hunt. You get your Blue's Clues from your most desired self, dropping those intuitive hits. You write that Blue's Clues down in your handy dandy notebook and you move forward towards it. You follow it. You trust it because you're trusting your body. Your body lets you know. Either you feel expanded, curious, or you feel contracted, fear. And it's important to dive into both aspects of it. Why do I feel contracted in fear? Is it resistance because of growth, or is this something that's not for me? For my safety, health, whatever. So, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, your feelings. Just a reminder that I do offer private sessions, sexual alchemy sessions, casual counseling sessions, relationship counseling sessions, learning how to communicate with your partner, a safe space, and a mediator to help with dissecting these resentments or thoughts or fears or whatever that comes up. I also hold sensual movement and release classes, which is the physical transmutation of shame and pain into explorative empowerment, pleasure, confidence, just the physical movement, the physical transmutation, and also heals classes. So yes, let's do this. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day. And remember, There is only one you. We need, desire, and want your magic. And that means speaking your truth. That means embodying the expression of your truth. And that means showing up in the best way that you can in that day, in that moment. Whether that's you feeling like the best way that you could show up for yourself in the world is to cuddle in bed with your cat and watch Interstellar for the 537,000th time, smoking weed and drinking bubbly or LaCroix, eating taquitos, then that's how you show up that day for yourself. Just being real with it. And recognize when a resentment is starting to happen, because now you know how they start. And since you know how they start, then you can just shift it in that moment in time and create new patterns, new responses, new template of experiences, a new dynamic of relationship and communication with yourself and all of the partners in your life, whether romantic or platonic. So, now you have a fabulous day. Yes, bitch. Come follow me on my socials and let's hang out. Let's talk about this. All right. Have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you later. Yes. Bye.